dear children, hope you all understood the part 1 of the lesson Harihar Kaka. Today again we are going to discuss the rest of the lesson, the story of Harihar Kaka. We will be starting from page 13 of the lesson. Here in my part 1 we stopped where Harihar Kaka was taken back to his home by his brothers. They succeeded in pacifying him and took him back to their home, and hereafter they used to look after him very well with lot of affection. They safeguarded Harihar Kaka just like a precious object. Usually what we do, the precious object means we will hide it somewhere safely and we will look after it, we will decorate it and we look after it like safeguarded from others or any visitors. Similarly, Harihar Kaka was also looked after properly by his brothers and the family members. Added on to this, his brothers had also managed to bring some very healthy family members who could also give that extra protection to Harihar Kaka, and they were always ready with the weapons, the big sticks and other things, so that if any necessity comes, they could even fight with the enemies to safeguard the Harihar Kaka. Mainly it is to safeguard the property of Harihar Kaka, so that nobody else could succeed in getting it from the brothers. Now our Harihar Kaka, in the beginning of the story we find that he was a very innocent person, innocent farmer. He never had any cunning intentions. But now, after so many bad incidents that had happened in his life, he had become very clever, alert, and we can say he has become enlightened. Now he understood that all these facilities were given to him not under any affection, love and affection towards him as a brother, but only in greed of his property. And he had decided strongly in his mind that he will not, in his lifetime, he will not write away his property to anybody, because he had already seen a bad incident that had happened in his village. Here in the Thakurbadi also, the Mahant and the Sadhu Sannyasis and everybody, they had become more conscious. They wanted to become more powerful, and they had also brought about more people like the goons and everybody. They were also making their side very powerful, so that in the next attempt they do not fail to get the papers properly signed by Harihar Kaka in their name. So on that other side also, they were also becoming equally strong. Both the sides, both the greedy people, they were after the property of Harihar Kaka basically. And Kaka understood that if he had donated his land in favor of any one of them, his position will be just like a fly that drops accidentally into the milk. Once the fly is falls into the milk, means the people will take it off and throw it off just like a garbage. That is unwanted thing. He will be similarly thrown away after taking away the property, and the old age will be very difficult for him to survive. So these things he understood very cautiously, very thoroughly, and he had a very clear mind, that mindset. He will not give away his land in his lifetime to anyone. That land is for him to enjoy. So this was his final decision. Now we find that the brothers of Harihar Kaka, after a few days, they were becoming more insecure, and the insecurity level was to such an height that They also started torturing Harihar Kaka. And one night everybody assembled together and they tortured Harihar Kaka like anything. They even forced him to sign on the papers that were handed over to him, and they said that they would not even hesitate to kill Harihar Kaka if he did not donate his lands or gift his lands in favor of these brothers. So they came to that much of height. They were worse than the Mahant and his goons. The behavior was so bad. They even wounded him, they beat him, they manhandled him so badly that such an inhuman behavior was not at all expected from his brothers by Harihar Kaka. It was such a pathetic condition. Nobody can forgive such brothers, even nowadays also. Why the people are after so much of property, nobody understands. But still such people do exist in our society. They do not care about any blood relation. They are only after money and property and wealth and so on, and they don't hesitate to do any inhuman behavior towards anybody, even if it is their relatives, for the sake of such luxuries. So the story was same with Kaka also. He could not believe his eyes. But he had a bitter experience previously. So now he was clever enough. He started screaming like anything. His brothers had forgotten to close his mouth. So he screamed. He started screaming. And they suddenly realized that yes, if the screams were heard in the village, somebody would come and interfere. Suddenly they closed his mouth, tied with a cloth. But very luckily, the scream was heard by the villagers, and they all rushed to save Harihar Kaka. When they tried to interfere, the brothers and their family members, they did not allow these people to enter the house or to meet Harihar Kaka. They said that this is their family matter and nobody should poke their nose into the family issues. So nothing unholy was happening inside the family, and so nobody should interfere in their personal issues. This is what they said, and they did not allow them to meet Harihar Kaka. Now, Harihar Kaka also understood that such an incident, a bad incident, had happened with another one person, a lady, a widow of a villager named Rameshwar.G in that village. After the death of Rameshwar, his wife had donated or gifted all the land of Rameshwar in the name of Rameshwar's brothers. In the beginning, they used to look after her very well, and she also had a peaceful life. But during the old age, these brothers, they even did not bother to give her 2 meals a day after she had donated the entire land in favor of them, and they were enjoying it so happily. They were not bothered about it. And during this old age, the lady suffered so badly. She was in such a unbearable situation that even the villagers, they could not see her situation, see her conditions. It was so pathetic, and she had a very bad death. These things had moved the heart of Harihar Kaka. These things were coming in his memory. So he stood up boldly and he said that even though the brothers, they would like to kill him, still he will not sign even a single sheet in their favor. They could whatever they could torture him, they could get him wounded, they could even kill him, but he was very adamant in his decision, because he was not interested to face such a bad situation, just like the wife of Rameshwar. Now, as I said, the villagers came. They could not rescue him, but the news spread like wildfire, and it reached Mahant. And Mahant, incidentally, he called up the police and immediately came to rescue Harihar Kaka. And Harihar Kaka was rescued with the help of the police officers in such a pathetic condition that he was deeply, very badly wounded. He was hurt throughout his body. They had beaten him so badly. It was unbearable. And poor Kaka, he fainted in front of the police officers. So he was in such a bad situation. The Mahant was better than his brothers. At least they did not torture him so much like his brothers. Now his brothers and nephew, they fled from the spot. But few of his relatives were arrested by the police officers. When such bad incidents happened with Harihar Kaka and he gained consciousness, he gave written complaint against his brothers and also the relatives to the police, and he said that they had forcefully got him signed on different papers and documents and deeds and whatnot. They succeeded to get everything by forgery. So he had given a written complaint against them. And now Harihar Kaka had decided that he was not safe inside the house. So he should plan some other accommodation for himself. And hence he also demanded to the police for a police protection for himself, because his life was under threat from the Mahant on one side and from the brothers on another side. His brothers and Mahant and everybody, again, they tried to pacify him. But he was determined that he should not stay with them anymore. So he asked for police protection. Thereafter, even the brothers and the Mahant also, at this point of time, the author says that these two people also had an insecurity for each other, that if one of them they succeed to pacify Harihar Kaka, means they will get it legally signed from get the property legally signed from Harihar Kaka. So both of them were also eager to give more protection to Harihar Kaka under the police protection. Okay, they were also very eager, and they spend a lot. Both of them spend a lot for this purpose. And Harihar Kaka also could look for a different accommodation where 4 police constables used to give full security to Harihar Kaka. It was a paid security that was provided, and this payment was given by Mahant and the brothers, both, because they both had that insecurity feeling. Everything happened under the greed for the property, but this was very good for Harihar Kaka also. He enjoyed such a safe accommodation or a security under the 4 police constables. Now, meanwhile, what was happening in the villages? The people, they were also having a lot of discussions among themselves. People could not sit idle, because so many rumors were spreading in the village, and they also had a lot of time to discuss these issues about Harihar Kaka. Since Mahant also fraudulently managed to get the papers signed from Harihar Kaka, similarly the brothers also succeeded to get the papers signed, and Harihar Kaka had given the written complaint that he is not interested to give away the property, neither to the Mahant, neither to the brothers. He was determined. Now the confusion, the main question arises that after his death, who will succeed the property? This was the big headache that was going on in the village, and the villagers wanted to know what would happen after the death of Harihar Kaka. And some or other people used to take the news, whatever the people were discussing in the Thakurbadi, and whatever the people were discussing in Kaka's house, all these news the people used to bring, and they used to discuss on these issues. Even if this was nothing to do with their own life, they could easily look after their own issues, but they were more interested. This was the hot topic in the village, though other incidents, similar incidents were happening, but Kaka was the highlight, and Kaka's life was a highlight for the people to discuss, and they found that extra time to discuss the same, and about what would happen to his property after his death. This was a matter of hot discussion. On one side, we find that in the Thakurbadi, or the Mahant and his people, they had bought more healthy people to make a powerful side, and if they get an opportunity to get the land registered in their name. On the other hand, the brothers were also sincerely trying for this issue. Now, what was happening in the villages, on one side, a rumor spread that both the Mahant and the Harihar Kaka's brothers, they were upset that they could not kill Harihar Kaka and close the chapter, so that the property could have remained with either one of them. Again, the next news that was spreading in the village was that both of them, the villagers thought that both of them were planning to fight for acquiring the dead body of Harihar Kaka after his death, and to perform the last rituals of Harihar Kaka after his death, so that that person would legally acquire the property of Harihar Kaka, since they were the people who had done the last rites and rituals, and they took care of the dead body. This was the second news that was spreading in the village like wildfire. Again, a third news was also spreading among these news. That was, these are all rumors, maybe the discussions that is happening in these two families, in these two places. So nobody knew about it, but the villagers were discussing these issues. And the third news was that the brothers of Harihar Kaka, they had appointed a dacoit named Bullion Singh, and this Bullion Singh was appointed for taking over the property of Harihar Kaka after his death, on the condition that 5% of that property would be given to this dacoit. 5 bighas of land, not 5%, it is the 5 bighas of land they had offered to be given to Bullion Singh, so that the rest of the property could be easily acquired by the brothers of Kaka. And the people also believed that after the death of Harihar Kaka, something unholy, a big fight would happen inside the village. The villagers would be affected. Something unholy is definitely going to happen in the village, because Harihar Kaka had not written away his property in the name of somebody in particular. These were the hot topics that was going on in the village, the rumors that were spreading, and the villagers were deeply interested in the discussion of the same. But we find that, meanwhile, a political leader who was never interested to do any job, nor he was interested in any farming. Once he came to meet Harihar Kaka, and he said that why not Harihar Kaka write away his property in favor of building a school, so that a big high school could be constructed, and the people and the children of the villagers, they would be benefited by such a property, and this could be a noble act, and nobody would have any more further fights on the property, and his life also would be secure, and he could be happy that he had done something good for the society. But Kaka coolly denied such an offer. He was not at all interested to give away the property for constructing any school. Now we find that amongst so many rumors that were spreading in the village, but Kaka now was not at all bothered about such rumors. He had kept servants to look after him, to cook good food for him, and he enjoyed a life peacefully now in a different accommodation, and there was no trouble from his brothers or the Mahant's people or the Mahant himself or any of the villagers. And Kaka had kept the servants, and add on he had 4 police constables who used to give more security to Kaka's life also. But we find that Kaka was deeply hurt, and he was depressed, and he was not at all interested to utter a word to anybody around him. He was always in some different thought. Maybe when such things happen to people, such bad things which they don't expect to happen, then people get so much annoyed. They don't feel like discussing these issues with anybody because they don't trust anyone. They feel so helpless that they do not have anybody to solve the problem or to look after them properly, or to who would fulfill their ambitions. So at this point of time, people may think it would be better to remain dumb than to discuss any such issues or to know what is going in and around them. So these are the common mentality of the common people. We find that the police constables were also, who were giving such a security to Harihar Kaka, they also had a luxurious life now, and because they were the people who were enjoying the wealth of Harihar Kaka. They had good food, their lifestyle had changed, they were having a real luxurious life as a security of Harihar Kaka. But the moral of the story is, this is a story, but we find the moral of the story is, in our lifetime, we always spend all our days in earning money, in acquiring wealth for our well-being. While we are working, we do not get any time to even rest or have proper food. We think that, okay, if we save money, means in the old age we are going to enjoy. So somebody will be there to look after us because we are wealthy enough. But nobody assumes such incidents could happen to anybody in the lifetime. Even though Harihar Kaka had a lot of wealth, but just imagine that nobody is there to enjoy that wealth. None of his relatives could enjoy, none of the people could enjoy, even he also himself could not enjoy, nor his wives. He also did not have any children. In their name also he could not write. Even though a lot of wealth remained, but still he did not have a happy life. So the author says that it is better to enjoy each and every day of your life, not to think too much about the tomorrows, because nobody knows. We can't predict our tomorrows, and a lot of wealth never means that we have a secure life. So these types of stories, these are the reality of life for the children to understand and to take care of the old people during their old age, because throughout the life they have spent a lot of energy working for themselves and for the people around them. So it is our duty to look after them when they are weak and old and to keep them happy. Money is not something that we should be greedy about. Everybody can work and earn money. That is not at all an issue. We need not be greedy on others' properties. But we must have some humanitarian concern towards the people in and around us, just like the author. So, such a beautiful story. This is a lesson for each and every person who reads the story. Thank you. Thank you for the patient listening, and I hope my discussion today will be very helpful for all of you.